We are glad you guys are with us for our first ever episode of The Strong Suit with Jakob Schweiger. And Jakob, I am excited to do this with you. What thoughts do you have for us just right out of the gate?
Oh, this is new to me. You see, I don't like surprises. That's one thing you need to know about me.
Still good.
So, no, I'm really happy to kind of get this kicked off after having such great feedback from the last time, and then just putting our heads together and coming up with like the strong suit, kind of working the hand that you're dealt with. I think that's going to be great.
Yeah, I have to, by the way, just go ahead and give some credit where credit is due. So in my strengths, ideation is one of my strengths, right? Like I'm the idea guy. Jakob, you're the one who came up with all of the names. You came up with everything. So there's some ideation in there somewhere.
I did have a thought partner, to be very fair. I know how to prompt and to get started.
At some point, you need to do the CliftonStrengths for Claude.
Oh my God, that won't end well.
Right? I wonder what that would be. That's a lot of fun. All right, so we're glad you guys are with us today. I might have started the stream just a slight bit off because I don't know. You'd think this is my first time doing this. It's not. I just had some technical issues. But we've got several people watching us right now. Here's what I would love for you to do. You need to know that Jakob and I could do this not live. We could just go record this and just talk to each other, and it would be fun. But but we absolutely love doing this live because we want feedback from you who are watching us right now. So you're going to get the most out of this if you participate. So here's what I'd like to start with. First, just in the comments, say who you are. Well, it'll show who you are. Say that you're here watching us and what's one thing that you hope to get out of this little 30-minute session when we're talking about strengths. All right, so throw that in there. I'm going to type that real quick while I'm talking, which isn't going to go well. But here's what I'll do. I'll type after I ask you a question, Jakob. So you said something the last time that we talked that took me by surprise because you said, these are Clifton's strengths, but they're not really strengths. They're something else. Tell me what this whole saying was and why this is true.
So the entire theme is basically StrengthsFinder. And that's what the assessment is called, which I understand for marketing purposes, but bottom line, if you really think about it, is actually a talent finder. And it is not a strength until we really know how to use it, we can apply it, and we have full control over it. And for me, this is very similar to a sports analogy. We all have certain talents in one way, shape, or form. And in sports, when you have a talent, when you're good at catching a ball, running, dribbling, FIFA is going on right now. You know you have a talent, probably somebody's told you that, complimented you on that, and then, okay, this is good to know. And then you may want to just develop that talent some further. And if you look at the really, really successful people out there, I don't know a single one who has not been coached, which really elevates the development from a talent to a strength.
That's really good. Yeah. I've always thought of talent as sort of this latent ability that's just in there somewhere. And I don't know if you ever heard the comedian Kathleen Madigan, but she's hilarious. I don't think I'm the target audience. It's like lady humor for the most part, but it cracks me up. She says that she always tries new things because she's hopeful that one day she's going to try something new and find out that she is unbelievable at it. And I thought, oh my word, that's the story of my life. I try everything. And I just hope one day I discover this latent talent I just never knew about. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. All right, couple of comments. First of all, Rich Maynard says, driving. Rich, please just drive. Thank you for taking the time to tell us. You're exempt from all further comment. All right. We're glad you're watching today, Rich. You're a good friend and a good advocate for the things that Jakob does, I know, and you've been a good advocate for me as well. So we've also got Celine on here. It says, glad to watch. Would love to get some info on what to do and not do. I don't want to waste my time. I'm assuming she means with her strengths, but she could be saying she doesn't want to waste her time in these next 30 minutes. So let's be on our best behavior, Jakob. Several more good comments here. Linda Sinisi, I love to see engagement with folks who have not yet delved into applying their strengths. So that's great. Linda, thank you for being a part of this. Chris McCord, I've had many different types of assessments. I've not ever done a CliftonStrengths assessment. Here's a link I should have had ready. I will see if I can gather a link for that here in a minute, Chris. I highly recommend that you do a CliftonStrengths assessment. And then Rochelle Jones says, thank you for being here. Question, I lead with executing in my CliftonStrengths. In your words, how would you describe a person who leads with executing? We're going to just start right there, Jacob, and we're going to go back up the comments. All right, so Rochelle says she leads with executing. What do you want to say about that?
So what you often see is when people are high in executing, they live in the moment. They are in the here and now, and they need to accomplish something in one way, shape, or form. This might be working heavily in to-do lists and then getting immense satisfaction of checking off every single item. If an item wasn't on the checklist, but you did it, add it to the checklist, that they need to feel that busyness, that accomplishment of getting stuff done ultimately. And I posted a little picture earlier on LinkedIn, to-do list, get shit done. That is literally the best way I can describe people in executing. They need to see that constant forward momentum, and they don't want to waste time thinking about things necessarily. They're in the here and now and in getting stuff done.
Okay, that's awesome. Good answer. All right. Paul Pappy says, hey guys, I have found I just flex in every situation. So Clifton may be quite proud of me. So that's fun. Yeah, Rochelle says that's definitely her. That's really good. Here's what we're going to do. Those of you who are watching, let's take a further step, because what we want to do in this next 22 minutes is we want you to tell us what you remember your strengths are from the CliftonStrengths assessment. And then Jacob is going to do a little dive into that of what some of the next things you could do that would really help get you working into that area of strength, your strength in your strengths. And maybe, Jacob, you want to talk a minute about what this looks like. We discussed that quadrant. Do we want to try to talk about that?
So one step back real quick.
Sure.
So when you put your top 5 in here, what I would love is if you give me just a smidge of context around it. Is there a certain situation where you would like to learn more? Is there a challenge you might be facing right now? Because we can use those themes to kind of explain maybe a train of thought or what's currently happening around that. So the more context we have, the more specific I can be with my answer.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds really good. While we're waiting, by the way, you guys should know Jacob is a CliftonStrengths coach. He's been a CliftonStrengths coach for 9 years, and you can connect with him obviously here on LinkedIn, but then this also is his business website, Brightpath Consulting, where he goes way beyond the tiny little bit that we're going to do here today. But I have found it very, very helpful in my own life. I've actually been a client of Jacob's. That's how we even got into this discussion. And I will tell you that I have essentially tried to build my entire career, hobbies, everything around my strengths. Still a work in progress, but it's been awesome. Paul says he's never done a CliftonStrengths assessment, just DISC. All right, I got to go find this link. I'm going to do that in just a second. All right, so I want the first person who would like to be kind of have some evaluation done on their strengths. Go ahead and put that in here. So it's the top 3 or 5, depending on what you know of your strengths, and then maybe like a challenge or a piece of context around that of how you would like Jacob to kind of weigh in on that. While we're waiting for that, I started working with Jacob about 2 years ago, and I got so excited about CliftonStrengths that I came and bought the assessments for my whole team, for my whole family. We all took them, and it's been really, really insightful for each of us. And so I've got some strengths here that I'm going to put in here, and then we're going to have Jacob just talk about, I won't even put the name in. How about that? That way they can be anonymous, but it's at least a combination of things that we could see. So the top 3, I'm going to put it in the, or you said the top 3 or 5, Jacob?
5.
Top 5. Okay, top 5. Harmony, empathy, developer, positivity, includer. So this is one of my employees at Nectify. Harmony, empathy, developer, positivity, includer.
Okay.
And you want some context around that?
Yes. Is there any way for me to share my screen? Because
Yes.
I kind of would like what you just...
Do you have your share button at the bottom on your screen there?
I'll just do probably the, let's see, I'll just do the window here.
Okay.
Let me know. Does this work? You see this?
Let's see. Yes. Perfect.
Okay, so that is your employee right now. Little context on what is the role of the said employee?
They primarily are in editing and like critiquing other people's work. So they're like evaluating what's happening that other people are doing, giving them feedback, helping them get better.
So with those 5 themes here, they're all in the relationship building area. There's a total of 4 different areas here, just as a little bit context. So there's relationship building, there's influencing, strategic thinking, and executing, as we heard before. So what this person has is obviously a very, very strong tendency in being in the relational area here. So those people are typically, let's say, the glue of the team. And when I look at empathy, this really helps understanding the emotional state of other people. So when, for example, it comes to giving feedback and providing feedback and critiquing work, it can help phrase that in a way that actually resonates with the other person. Harmony is a often misunderstood theme because harmony looks for consensus in here. So what is the area that we ultimately agree on that we can use to move forward to kind of avoid some of the friction in here? So for that, it really helps people get out of a situation where they may be stuck or where different parties may be stuck. And it can be great for a mediator, for example. Then when we look at positivity, this is a lot of energy that they bring to the table, always in a good mood, maybe here and there cracking a joke, uplifting other people. And then we have developer who loves to, number one, identify where people are naturally good at and where they're talented at, what makes them special, and then help them literally incrementally get better. And also provide that feedback and say, hey, I've seen you last week, you do X, this time you do Y. And that can be extremely helpful for them. And they love to mentor people.
I love this. Yeah, that's really interesting. The role that she is in, I think, suits her pretty well for the skill sets and the strengths that she has then. All right, we've got some more comments coming in here. So let's jump in. So Rochelle, you ready? Jacob's going to fill these in as we go. Responsibility, futuristic, positivity, relator, analytical. And then she makes the comment, she said it was surprising to me that strategic was number 20. How should I think about that in what I do? And she's a fractional HR consultant, fractional HR executive. So she thought that was interesting because she would have thought that strategic would be much higher. Looks like you've got this ready to go.
Yeah, almost. My formatting just doesn't work for the last one.
If only you knew an Excel genius that could solve that.
Yeah, that would be nice, but I'm not going to do that on the fly. So the last one, analytical, is also a strategic thinking theme, so it's green as well. And let's start with the first question, strategic. People high in strategic, they love to think in alternatives, always have a plan A, B, and C, and they're always or can be very fast in making decisions because they see how certain things work together very quickly. Being low in the actual theme of strategic thinking does not mean that you're not capable of doing it.
Yeah.
It just means it takes a lot more effort out of you to kind of sit down, come up with a strategic plan. It's probably not going to be fun as much for somebody else who is a strategic thinker, and they love spending that time here. When you said earlier you lead with executing, that means in the here and now and making sure that the details are all hashed out and everybody knows what they need to do right now. That is perfectly good for a consultant. And then you also have futuristic in here, which is somebody who can really see far out in the future. The one thing that's important, though, is not a lot of people will necessarily be able to follow your image of the future, your vision. So it's very important to break this down in the separate steps. How do we get from today, the here and now, to that future picture out there? So being low in strategic doesn't mean you cannot do it. There's a lot of other themes around there that help you with that strategic aspect of the job.
Yeah, it's really good. Rochelle, I hope that was helpful. Throw any questions or further comments you have as we go forward. We're going to get through several other people's Clifton Strengths here, but be sure to comment. We'll try to get to as many as we can. We've got about 13 minutes to go. Excellent. Thank you, Jacob. So this is from Linda. Here are her 5 strengths: strategic, achiever, focus, diligence, and connectedness.
Diligence? No.
No? Okay.
No, hold on. And what was the last one?
Connectedness.
Yep. What am I doing here?
Everything's kind of breaking. This is why we do live things right here, Jacob. It's beautiful.
Oh, I should probably just click on the right thing.
There we go.
The other one was probably deliberative.
Deliberative instead of diligence. Okay.
Okay. So, this is the first time me just using that. I just whipped that up earlier. I'll fix that for the next time.
I love it. This is why I do live things, Jacob. This makes me laugh, and it's fun. It makes it human.
Yeah. How human the failure. Anyways. So what we see here, the first one is
Hey, sorry, Jacob, sorry. She also gave you a little bit of context. It says, I liken myself to a mouse in a maze, finding any path forward, not giving up until I get through whatever the situation is. So if that gives you any kind of context.
And that is exactly your strategic. Because strategic looks at all the different possibles and possibilities and paths that are out there forward. You run down path A and you hit a wall. It's like, oh, okay, I already have a path B lined up that I can now revert back to and now follow path B. If that doesn't figure it out, then I'm going to follow up with path C. So being able to very quickly switch in the moment to what you've already thought about previously, that is a great piece here. Achiever is getting things done, that kind of checklist behavior. You have a full list. You want to make sure at the end of the day you ultimately have something done. Just idling is typically not an option. Focus is honing in on one specific task. So people high in focus, they typically don't like to multitask and have many different things at the same time. They need that focus, that prioritization as well, to always know what's the highest priority that we need to work on to be successful. Deliberative can sometimes be seen as I call it negative Nancy, because deliberative people are very much risk aware. So they look at all the things that could potentially go wrong. Now pair that with the strategic mindset as well. For everything that could potentially go wrong, we already have a plan in place what we can do. And then the last one is another relationship building theme, connectedness, which basically helps people or helps a team understand the bigger picture of things. So it's very good to recognize certain things that are seemingly disconnected, but in your brain they make sense and they are connected. So if something bad happens, people can quickly get lost in that, I'm frustrated, I don't want this. And people high in connectedness, they can help them connect it. It's like, this may look bad right here, but in the grand scheme of things, this is how we can still move forward and proceed and how this actually fits in with everything.
That's really good. I was thinking of that deliberative strategic thing. There's a thing in business called the SWOT analysis, which is basically like trying to figure out where things would break. That's an interesting pairing, right? Like she should be really well positioned to help complete something like that.
Yeah, and then to kind of, you like to get things started right away as an activator.
Oh, yeah.
And if you, for example, pair an activator with somebody who's deliberative, they may be able to slow that person down so that they are not actually getting ahead of themselves, because they also want to look at the things, what could possibly go wrong. So this is where partnerships basically come in.
I love it. So Linda's title in LinkedIn, so it's just in the chat, so I just see a little bit. It says Value Creation Partner. So I think that's fun. I don't exactly know what you do, Linda, but I love that terminology. Sounds like you and I need to work together sometime because we'd be a good pairing. So thank you for throwing that in here, Linda and Jacob. Excellent analysis there. Linda, if you've got questions or follow-up things you want to ask Jacob about that, please go ahead and do that in the comments. We're going to move to Selena. So she's got, she went and found them. See, she tried and then she went and actually found the data. So here we go. says woo, significance, strategic, communication, ideation.
Okay. So, finally got some influencing themes out there. Cool. So I is for influencing and T is again for thinking or strategic thinking in here. Woo, think of it as short for winning others over. So constantly meeting new people, talking to people and breaking that initial ice. So whenever you walk in a room, there's probably a room full of people that you don't know yet. But at the end of the evening, you'll probably know every single person in there. So it's very quick to strike up a conversation. Significance is all about leaving value behind. So the things that you do, you want to make sure that they feed a bigger cause out there. So people high in significance, they hate busy work. They hate work that probably doesn't align with their values as well. So they need to make sure that everything they do feeds a bigger purpose in there. Kind of think of it leaving a legacy is often. Strategic, we already talked about. I don't think I'll go into that again. Number 4, communication. Communication is all around communicating, and there is a lot of different talents actually within communication. It can be written communication, can be verbal communication, can be storytelling. There's a lot of different facets around this, but it's all about being able to cater a message so that it resonates with other people. And ideation, Lance, I know you can relate. It's just firing ideas in a controlled or uncontrolled manner of things that are out there, of things that come to your mind. You just walk down the street and you probably have 5 different ideas. Important thing for people high in ideation is record them and prioritize them, because not every idea is created equally. There's good ideas and not so good ideas, but you have to find a process to separate those and follow the ones that have the biggest impact.
Yeah, that's really good. She had a question on the context. She said, as a business owner, I know I need to pivot out of some roles and into others. What kind of insight would you have based on what you see here with that kind of context?
Pivot out of roles. So I think that goes to me back to a strategic theme and thinking is, why do you want to transition out of them? What's your ultimate goal? What's the end goal behind you? Is it a lack of time? Is it a lack of enjoyment transitioning out of it? So we need to figure out what is the ultimate root cause for you wanting to do that, and then see where this comes in. This actually feeds perfectly in that 2x2 matrix that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, let's show that.
I'm going to bring this up. I hope this is big enough for everybody. Looks good on my end. So
yeah, good here.
As part of my coaching, I use this 2x2 matrix to kind of figure out the things that we do in life and the things that we do at work. They all fit in kind of 4 different areas. And we have here on one side the level of enjoyment. So if you go the vertical axis up, your level of enjoyment increases. And then across right, you have your level of excellence. So how good are you at doing things? The goal is to have as many things up here in the top right where you shine. This is where you're good at and where you also enjoy doing the work. Then if we look below at the blue one, this is the grind. This is where you're good at, but not necessarily enjoying the work that you do. Could be around sales. So level of excellence is basically, oh, sorry, stuff is moving around.
Sorry.
It's all good. So the grind is basically you can do it, you don't enjoy doing it, but you're good at doing it. Then if you have something that you absolutely enjoy doing, but your skill is low, that's typically your hobby. And then lastly, bottom left, you have the drain. These are the things you're not good at doing, but you have to do them. And you also dislike doing them. So once we're able to kind of figure out the things, Celine, in your context in business, where do your current activities and the things you have to do fall in here? That helps you. Maybe we can delegate certain things in here. Maybe there is a teaching opportunity. Maybe there's an automation, a tool opportunity in here. And there might also be a level to develop certain things from a grind into the shine area, or from the hobby area into the shine area. And this is where part of Clifton Strength comes in. Our strengths are typically things that we enjoy doing. So meeting new people in here, coming up with strategic plans. And if we're able to develop that from a talent into a strength, then we can figure out, okay, how do we ultimately shine with this? Because we know the how and the level of excellence, we know the what, and they lead to just satisfaction here. So everything in the top right corner basically refuels your battery and you enjoy doing it.
Can I make an observation here, Jacob? I could be completely wrong. So if I am, just tell me I'm wrong and I'll learn. But I have personally found that it's a lot easier to identify what drains me than where I shine. And basically like looking at, are we getting an echo? Let me see here.
Nope, not here.
Chris says he's hearing something. I'm going to just turn down. Chris, I'm not seeing any feedback here. If anybody else is getting an echo, let me know. We can temporarily. Sorry, let me just think how we want to do this real quick. I'll just turn down my speaker, Chris, and we'll see if that will solve some problems for us. Okay. So what I was going to ask, Jacob, is, so let's take Selena's question about pivoting into roles that she doesn't want. In my brain, it's always been like, I can tell when I don't like doing something. And in a lot of cases, it shows up in my task list, the things that aren't getting done. Like, in other words, they just constantly get pushed down, right? Like they keep dragging. Is that a valid way to go about this? And like, how could we use this grid to kind of evaluate that, to move it to where we need to be?
Yes, for sure. So that's a very good thing. Kind of the ever-growing task list, things you don't want. I have that as well, so I absolutely relate to it. But then when you also think about the shine, there might be activities where you hunker down, you're in the zone, and all of a sudden it's like 2, 3, 4 hours later, and you feel like, oh, where did my time go? So I think it's a lot easier to kind of fall into the drain area, because we forget to really look for the things that we enjoy, because we take it as a given and we take it for granted. And if we just take it for granted, we don't consciously work with it. So we need to drag it into the light and recognize that this is something where we shine. So we're able to do more of it, which will outweigh so much more of the drain. But the drain is always in your face because you see that task every single time.
That's a good point. Yeah, basically it's like the paradox, right? You're so good at something that it just comes naturally, and it's easy to dismiss it because it doesn't feel like it takes effort. And so we end up almost focusing on the things that we're not naturally good at because it feels like we're working hard that way. Is that a fair assessment?
Correct. And this is all where Clifton Strength comes in. It's rooted in positive psychology. So we want to really fall into the positive side of things. So let's figure out where we're good at, what we enjoy doing, and how we can do more of that. Because doing more of something we enjoy does not necessarily feel like work. We enjoy it. We can really be ourselves. And then life gets a lot easier.
It's really good. I think it's also interesting, and this is part of why I think it's so useful to work with other people when we're talking about some of these things, is that other people can see those strengths really easily. Really easily. In fact, what I found humorous is that when I hear people's their strengths, it's almost like, yeah, no kidding. But I have a feeling for each of us when we see our own, we're like, oh, that's interesting. So it's kind of funny. I had a friend who used to say we can't read the label because we're inside the bottle. Like we can't see what's going on the outside. And we got to wrap up. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions that probably are food for thought for other weeks. So, and I just want to help everybody understand what we're trying to do here with this show, if you don't mind. So we are hoping to make this an episodic weekly show around Clifton Strengths, which means we're not going to just do this exact thing every week. What we want to do is allow different levels of people who are at different stages with their discovering strengths or turning talents into strengths. We want to encourage people to bring their teams onto these calls, kind of get some feedback about how things work. But we would also love to hear from you guys about what would be valuable to you ongoing as we discuss how to implement these strengths. And then here's a question I have for you, Jakob, just to think about. Maybe we don't have time to go into depth right now. Essentially, because I think I'm a business person, when I do this grid, I'm just thinking about like how my strengths apply to making money. And the truth is that how does this fit into the market probably has some kind of an overlay on this. Is that be something to think about or consider as a topic for a future discussion?
So how to use this to make more money?
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Because I think that would be a reason to tune back in. How do I make more money with my strengths? Or how do I think about how the market responds to my strengths? Or how does the market respond when I'm in the shine quadrant versus in the drain quadrant, right? Mm-hmm. Or the grind quadrant, the hobby quadrant. The hobby is kind of like Etsy turns into business from hobby to shine. I don't know. All right, this is good. Guys, we are so glad you guys joined us for this first one today. And I am so grateful, and I know Jakob is too, of you guys participating and being a part of this, taking time out of your schedule for this. I hope it's been really helpful. Would you think about who you could tell about this for next Tuesday? It'll be this exact same time slot, 1 p.m. Eastern, about 30 minutes. We're going to focus on Clifton Strengths and how it can impact you. And we really want to make this really interactive, very, very practical. So many of the comments here, by the way, said how grateful they are, Jakob, for your comments and your feedback on this. So guys, we are glad you're here today. Be sure to come back next week and bring a friend if you can. I hope you guys have an awesome, awesome day. Jakob, any final words for us?
No, I'm super happy. I'm glad that we're doing this. I'm glad that we get the feedback, and I would love more feedback. So whenever you have an idea, something you want as part here, reach out to me, reach out to Lance. We talk outside a ton anyways. Let us know what you want, and we'll do our best to make it happen.
That's perfect. Jakob, thanks so much for bringing the expertise today. It's always fun getting to hang out with you.